This is the Sony ZV-E10. This is the Zhiyun Crane M3. And this is the DJI RSC2. Let's take a Jam Life tech adventure. Hi guys, welcome back to Jam Life Tech Talk. If you're new here, please subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss a thing, and smash the like button. So I have been excited to put these two up against each other to see which one would be my favorite gimbal. So before we get to stabilization testing, I would like to point out a few things that make these two gimbals different. Firstly, the price. The Zhiyun Crane M3 around $350 and the DJI RSC2 around the $500 mark. And the other thing to point out here is the size and weight. It's obvious here the Crane M3 is smaller and lighter than the RSC2. The question is the RSC2 more pro and give better stabilization, enough to compensate for the more expensive price and size and weight? So we're going to look at some stabilization comparisons first, and then we'll come back and look at the advantages of each. So apologies for the speck of dust on the sensor once again, and for reference we were shooting with the Sony 10 to 18mm f4 on the ZV-E10 of course, and we were at 4K 30. So let's go down to Sydney Harbour and take a look. So firstly guys, here's the handheld tripod stabilization test. You'll notice that there is a little bit of jitter in the RSC2. Now that's due to the weight of the gimbal. It's just hard to hold it up, so there is a little bit of jitter in my hands. When we get to the slow pan stabilization test, you'll see all the jitter has gone away from the RSC2. Both performing very well, although I would say that the RSC2 a little bit more stable, but it's only marginal here guys. And here's the fast pan test. Both gimbals performing very well here. I think the DJI RSC2 is a little bit ahead in terms of stabilization, but it's only marginal. And here's the go test with the motors wound up to high speed. You can see both functioning and performing really well here. Now here's the walking test, both extremely stable. You will notice that the RSC2 is zoomed in a little. I apologize for that. That is my bad. I had the lens zoomed in just a touch. This, if anything, would have given a slight advantage to the Crane M3, but the RSC2 outperforming still the Crane M3, I think, so that really says something. Okay, in terms of stabilization on the vlog test, both performing very well. You can see here I have got the RSC2 zoomed in a little, but also it's very hard to hold that sizable gimbal out, so probably got it in a little bit on my arm as well, so that would be a disadvantage of the RSC2. Okay, here's the running test. Both gimbals performing very well. I think the RSC2, again, just a little bit better, but it's marginal. There is a little bit of jitter when running, but you can easily get rid of that in post. And by the way, most of the time I use a warp stabilizer in post, even with a gimbal. Okay guys, before I give my opinion and ultimately tell you which one to buy, let's look at the advantages of each. And first up, it's the DJI RSC2. Stabilization is the first advantage. This is a close call, but as far as I could see, the RSC2 takes it out here. Next is the pro features. The gimbal has extra settings and features that make it more pro. Next is the companion app, which I think is more intuitive, easy to use, and has more features. Next is gimbal control. Although it does just allow you to stop recording and nothing else, and not official on the DJI website, it's still there. But I am still sure we will see this in an update for the Crane M3. No word yet when that will be, but we will let you know as soon as we see it. Next is the unique folding design, which allows the gimbal to go into an underslung type low mode and also allows for compact storage. And now let's look at the Crane M3. There are 3 real advantages here. Firstly, the price. In the basic form of the gimbal, the Crane M3 will save you a couple of $100 over the RSC2. And secondly, it's the size and weight. This is a very small gimbal that can handle a full frame Sony camera. It's really amazing. And thirdly, it's built-in light, which has color temperature correction built in and is really quite handy. So guys, what am I recommending for vloggers and content creators as the gimbal to best stabilize their Sony ZV-E10? Well, this was a real surprise to me, but it's actually the Zhiyun Crane M3. The RSC2 does a better job of stabilizing than the Crane M3, but it's very marginal for me and does not make up for the weight and size saving of the Crane M3. This is so important to the average content creator who is carrying around gear all the time. And when you're holding up that RSC2 for a while, it really does get you quite tired. It's true, the RSC2 is more of a pro gimbal, but if you're a pro user, I would be going for the DJI RSC2 and maybe using a full frame Sony camera. This was a huge surprise to me. I love my RSC2 and never thought that this gimbal would even come close. But size and weight and ease of use compared to its predecessor, the Crane M2, have made me rethink. Once we finally get that firmware update to control the record, start, stop, and hopefully control zoom, it will be even better. The RSC2 is still a great gimbal, and if you own one, I would not run out and sell it for the Crane M3. But if you're a vlogger or content creator trying to decide on what to buy, save a bit of money and strain your arms less and buy the Crane M3. So the search for the perfect gimbal for the Sony ZV-E10 is over. I believe it's the Zhiyun Crane M3. It really feels perfect for this camera. But what did you guys think? Do you agree, or is there another gimbal you think we haven't tested here that is better for the Sony ZV-E10? Please let us know in the comments section below. And that's it for today's video. Please subscribe, ring the bell, hit the like button, all of that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next Jam Life Tech adventure.